Good afternoon, everybody. So, what we learned from last class? From the last class, we have learned how can we hack the web server. So, and also a little bit information regarding how can we secure the web server. Today, we will learn how can we hack the web application. So today is the information regarding web application. How can we hack it? So we'll like last class. Today we'll first complete the theoretical things, and then we'll start lab work, little bit lab work, and then again theoretical, and then again lab work. In this way, we'll finish the class today. So now regarding web application, so why do we how the hacker is working with the web application attacking? So if we see we see that different types of web application and the percentage of attack here, like website running with WordPress, there is a attack percentage 24.1, and also the retail websites targeted by 48.1%. Retail website is the very important because nowadays most of the things are going for e-commerce. So we need to know uh, how can we secure our e-commerce sites, and as well as Amazon web server is 20% of known vulnerabilities are there. So these are the statistics regarding the attack of the web application. So the what is the attacking pattern? Web attacking pattern. The usual student credential is 50.7%. This is the highest number of highest number of users of the attacker. Now what they do, they uses the credentials, the credential information, and then they use it for attacking your web application, and then use of backdoors. They will use the backdoors for the attack. This is around 40%, and SQL injection is 19%, and then XSS is 6.3%, and so on. So these are the percentage of attack the attacker are using the information. And now what is web application and how they do it? The web application, this is the actually interface between the web server and the end user. This is known as web application. But there what are the attackers do? There are some vulnerabilities. In the web application, and the attacker try to find the vulnerabilities, and they try to use that vulnerabilities to attack the victims. So what type of attack they do? They do SQL injection, they do cross-site scripting, and as well as session hijacking. And in web technologies nowadays, we use web 2.0 protocols, 2.0. So and this is more these have more sort of vulnerabilities before web 1.0. And web application and web 2.0 technologies are invariably used to support critical business function. And this protocol web 2.0 is used for business business critical functions, support customer resource management, and as well as HRM, something like this. So what they are doing, they are using Now in Web 2.0 technologies, we are using the dynamic website, uh, dynamic page and dynamic information. For this reason, the attacker can get the lot of vulnerabilities to find out the to uh, to attack the victim. And how web application work? Yeah, you see the web application. All the web application, you need the username and password to log in. So once you log in, you will connect it to the internet, and then if they have firewall, then you will go to the firewall, and then web server through web application and DVMS. Finally, the user will get the output from the DVMS. So this is the things the web application work. Now the web application architecture. What is the architecture of the web application? The web application architecture is you are connected with the clients connected with the internet. The clients connected with the internet, and then through internet the client connected with the web server. And in the web server there is a business layer, and in the business layer they have .NET framework, C++, com plus, whatever you have in the business layer. And then after the business layer you will have the database layer. These are the architecture actually web applications. And in the web 2 application, what we will do in the web 2 application, we have four main features. What is the main features and why it is called as web 2 applications? Web 2 protocol, it has interactive data sharing. You have to share data interactively. And for example, you are interfacing with the client. You are log into the Gmail. If you log into the Gmail or your email system, then you are sending the username and password, and you are getting the response from the server. This is called interactive. And then collaborative on the web. And what you need to do, for example, cloud computing, and you have to collaborate with the server and the web. And for example, office software, online office software, what you are doing, you are using the office from your computer, so you have to collaborate your things with others. So even though you need the license, but still you can collaborate your software or your things with other people. And then interoperability. What is interoperability? You can operate certain application through the internet, through the web. For example, game. So in the nowadays, all of us used to play game with the mobile system. So the game is not within your mobile. The game is in the server, and you are playing with the mobile. So this is the thing, that you are operating other server with your end user device. This is called interoperability. And also user centered design. So you have to design your system, you have to design your web application um, uh, based on the requirement of the user. So you are giving a preference to the using. What you can compare this one with the Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So you are designing the Facebook based on the requirements on the user. So these are the main four characteristics of the Web 2.0 application. So what are the vulnerabilities? So yeah, vulnerability stacks. So vulnerability stacks, we have 7 vulnerability stacks here. And in the layer 1, there is a security layer, and while in the layer 4 is web server, layer 5 database server, and the last one, layer 7, is custom web applications. So these are the vulnerability stack, vulnerability layer. Now the web application threats. I have few web application threats here, like cookie poisoning, directory traversal, and improper error handling, and broken account management. These are the things. These are the threats we have in the currently available, where the attackers use this sort of information, like platform exploit, authentication hijacking, web service attack. These are the things. So now, what is invalidated input? And invalidated input means this is the flaw, the web application. This is the flaw. This is the main flaw of the web vulnerability. What you are giving a wrong input. For example, in the username and password, you are giving the wrong input, and then you are getting one sort of message from the application. So if you get the message from the application, what the attacker do? Attacker use this message, and it will mess with the HTML or CSS code, and then he will try to exploit it. The attacker will try to exploit it. Where is the message? Where is the message found? And he will try to change the message. He will try to change the code, and then he will try to make a cross-site scripting to attack you. So in this example, the jaggyboy.com, if you put the wrong message here, then what you will do, you will get a message. And attacker try to get the message here. Attacker try to get the script, the HTML script. You have written jaggyboy.com/login.apx, this one. And what they will do, they will try to modify the query. They will try to modify the query and will store into the database. So invalidate input message is the major flaw in the web-based application. And these invalidate input message and this flaw is used for cross-site gifting, buffer overflow, and SQL inject. And SQL inject, you can easily use this type of message. And then parameter and form tampering. So what is the parameter and form tampering? Parameter, so we are using parameter in the address bar. For example, if you write down www.jaggyboy.com, so what will do, the client is trying to communicate with the server, and there is an address bar, there is a message in the address bar, and the attacker will try to modify the credentials as well as the price, quantity, etc. So for example, in here in the first one we have the jaggybank.com, and at last we have 2500 debit equal to 2500. But what they can do, they can temper it, and they can make it 1500. And as well as profile equal to 21, they can easily make it profile equal to 82. And at the same time what they can do, they can here in the status equal to view, in the third one, the status equal to view, and what you can do, you can make it status equal to delete. So you can temper it, you can change the parameter, and the parameter changing, you can you can this for cross-site scripting as well as SQL injection. And mainly this sort of vulnerabilities is used for SQL injection. And here another thing is that you will have lots of logical information, the integrity, and as well as logical information. The attacker can change the integrity and as well as logical information as well. So directory traversal, already we know this. What is the directory traversal? The directory traversal on dot dot slash, and if we put the dot dot slash, and then you can get access to the root directory. So now what attacker will do? Attacker will get access to the source code directory, configuration directory, and as well as critical file system. And they and also they can execute commands to get access to the web server's root directory. Already we know that. So what we can do here, usage the jackyboy.com process.spx. Maybe there was a image file, and we are changing this one slash some directory files. For example, what we can do, we can write down the root directory slash dot dot, we can put the root directory etc and password for Linux. So in this case you will get access to the Linux etc password directory. So here how the attackers can work. The attackers can send a HTTP request to the server, and then server respond with the password files, or server respond with the username files. And in this server you can inject your own code. You can inject your own code to get the proper information. So for this reason we have to be careful about the directory traversal and dot dot slash coding technique. And security misconfiguration. So what is the security misconfiguration? So security misconfiguration, there is a server software flaws. So in the server you have some software, there may be some sort of flaws, and as well as enabling unnecessary service. You are enabling lots of unnecessary service, which one is not needed, and as well as the attacker is using the unnecessary service to attack your server, as well as your web application. And then improper authentication. So you have to have a valid authentication system and unpatched security flaws. So you have to always update the patch system. So if there is a security flaws, then unpatched security flaws, you have to fix it. So with the everything it implies the server configuration problems. So you have to configure the server in a secure manner, and as well as don't put any default username and password in anywhere, and don't put the default settings. So if you have security misconfiguration, so what is the benefit of the attackers? It is easy for exploitation. If you have the misconfiguration, the attackers will get the vulnerability, and using those vulnerabilities the attacker will get unauthorized access, and unauthorized access to default accounts, and as well as read unused pages and exploit unpatched flaws. And also he will get read and write permission. So and another thing is that the common prevalence. If you have the security misconfiguration at any level of an application stack, including platform, web server, application server, framework, or custom code, they will get the privilege. Yeah, the attacker can get the privilege to get access to your system. So um, for example, if you want to see the example, the application server admin console is automatically installed and not removed. So you have to remove it, and default accounts are not changed. You have to change the default accounts, and as well as never use the default password. And the injection flows. So what is the injection flaws? Injection flaws are web application vulnerabilities. These are the web application vulnerabilities that allows untrusted data to be interpreted and executed. So attacker will, this is the untrusted data for the victim, and attackers will try to find it, and attacker will interpret it and as well as execute it. So this is the most common vulnerabilities, and as well as the attackers exploit these flaws by constructing malicious command and queries. Mm, they will try to construct a malicious command or queries, and this will lose your data, and or this will corrupt your data, and as well as this may happen the denial of service. And injection flaws are prevalent in legacy code and often found in SQL. This may be found in SQL, LDAP, and XPath queries. So, what is the SQL injection? SQL injection, it involves the injection of malicious SQL queries into user input forms. And so, user has a input, and the user is giving, the victim is giving the username and password from the from the input forms. What the attacker is trying to get, attacker will write down the malicious code and trying to use this code for his own purpose. And then command injection, the command injection is it involves the injection of malicious code through web application using command control prompt. The attacker will try to get information, try to inject some malicious code through command control prompt, and that LDAP injection, and it will inject the LDAP statement into the malicious LDAP statement into the victim's service. So what is the SQL injection attacks? Today we will learn the basic things of SQL injection attacks, and then later, that means in the next class, we will have a details SQL injection attack, because we need to know this is the basic things of attacking. So we need to know the SQL injection attacks in details. For this reason, today we will learn the basic things of SQL injection attack. The SQL injection attack, it's a series of malicious SQL queries, and it will directly manipulate the database. This can directly manipulate the database, and the attacker use this type of vulnerabilities. Attacker use this type of vulnerabilities to bypass the normal security measures, and SQL injection is easy, and attacker can execute from the address bar of the application fields, and as well as through queries and searches. And what the attacker trying to do, attacker trying to send a request. Attacker will send a request using the code, and this code will go to the web browser and show the
localhost. Then we have pasted our all source code in ch folder. So let's see, it's showing DBW system error, config file not found. So first of all, we need to change the config file name. You will find this config file here. config directory. Under this directory there is a file config.in.php.dix. so we need to rename this file, and we will have to remove dot uh, .dix from the file. So how we'll do that? We are going to this file again. Okay, so we are renaming this file. After this, we will have to put our database configuration here in config file. So I am putting our database name CH, my password root, and I will have to put my password there. So my software is, my local lab is connected with my database server. Let's see if it's work. Okay, I need to create the database. So I am done, and now I can log in with admin, and default password is password. So our lab installation is finished. So we can learn lot. We can do our attack here instead of any live server. So uh, it's ethical. So we can learn how to do brute force here, how to do command injection or explanation. Lots of demo tools are here. So first of all, there are three type of security levels. So you need to change as you are learning from very basic. We will first see the low level. So after installing this, we will have to go to DBW security menu and then click it, and from there you will have four options: low, medium, high, and impossible. So you need to select low as you are learning, so then change the level. After this, we can start testing. So we first of all we will see how SQL injection works. So we will do SQL injection here, and this is simple application to uh, show user information. You can see if I put user ID, it's simply showing information from database. So we will see if we can do SQL injection here. So how we can do that? First of all, there are lots of tools we can do this, and another thing is we can do this manually with our logic, or we can use any automated tools. But for this course, we'll use SQL Map. So we can download SQL Map from internet. Simply go to sqlmap.org or search it in Google. So download it, and from there you can download. I already have this downloaded on my local PC, so I don't need to download it again. So I can show you. So here is my SQL Map. I simply just downloaded it, and you can download, and I will show you how to use these tools. This is not a very complex things. This is a build with Python, and I will show you how to run Python script. And simply open this folder on your terminal and check if you are in the correct directory using ls. You can see all of this file. So we have a file sqlmap.py. So simply we need to run this file, and if we can and put our url to do this scan. So the basic usage is as this is a Python file, we need to put Python. Another thing, you must need to install Python before running this. So I have Python pre-installed Python, and then sql map.py. Then you need to put URL, in which URL you want to do the scan for SQL injection. For me, it's I would like to this is the URL where I need to do SQL injection. So I will put this on here. I will put this. So simply I can start and DBS. Okay. So injection, my scanning will start soon, but let's see what's happened. It's doing the testing, and finally it there is no result because we have done some mistake, because this area is login protected. So as this is login protected, and SQL map cannot reach this URL directly. So if SQL map wants to reach this URL, so he must be logged in. So he the SQL map tools need to know what is our session. So you can simply check our session. Simply tell SQL map so here is our tools, and we will do SQL injection here, and we can check the session and we can put it in SQL injection command. So how to do that? You can simply right click and go to inspect element. On the network tab, you will find send a request. After opening this network tab, send this request again. Okay, so or in any request, you can simply check it from here and cookies. So our PSP session ID, we have two sessions there. PSP session ID, this is our logged in ID, and our security level is low. So SQL map needs to be configured with those session ID. So I am simply doing copy, and I need to put this. Okay, and this is my URL. This is cookie, and I can now run. So it's scanning. It's doing all the scanning, all possible way. It's trying to find out the SQL error point. So if there is any SQL injection, it will report you, and you can see you can inject any malicious data there. So let's see what happened. Excellent, we are done. So you can see after the attack, there are some available database. So all of my database are here. So this is automated. So I have CS database. This is all my database. For example, I can see you from my admin panel, localhost. So see, I have all those database. All are in my SQL map response. So is it's working? So automatically you can do inject, and now using this point you can do any kind of SQL injection. You can update data, you can take data, or you can get password from user. You can do all of these things. We will show this in details in next class hopefully, but for now I will move to another tools called for command injection, and you can see it's just doing command to any IP address. So if I put 127.0.1, so I have just sent a ping request to my local IP, and this is the response. So this is a command. You can see this is a command. So if I do this manually from my terminal, 127.0.0.1, you can see same response. So this is a web-based tools for doing things which we are doing from terminal, and we can just how we can exploit this. If we run well, so this is a point, and using ls command we are injecting another command here, and this is how it's working. ls command will show you the all list of file. Look, all of file are here, and simply you can see we are injecting another command here after the ping command. So my file are here, all file links are here. So how we can do this attack using tools? Simply we will use comics, and you can download it from you can simply google it, comics. This is comics command. You can after download it, this is also a Python script, so you can simply go to the directory. I have downloaded comics, and you can see you can simply go to this, and this is Python file, and we need to open our terminal, and I can so see here is a file comics.py. So I can start the attack here with comics. So this is the almost same as SQL map. So you need to put this command. Let me explain this command. So here Python comics.py, then comics u, then put your URL, and after that you need to put the cookie. So our cookie is PHP session, and then our security, so those cookies, and then I can do this attack, and it will also report you about any kind of command injection attack. So I hope you will test it after the class, and I hope you will get it working. And in next class we will do lots of lab, and we will see in details SQL injection in details. So for now I am requesting Dr. Amir Ali for continue his lecture.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Monirujjaman. Now, what we can do, we can have some question and answers. So now we can have some question and answer, and then we will go to the next. Oh, today not much question. This is the very good things. Mr. Ashraf. So Mr. Ashraf, in BART there is a message shown me always client failed to negotiate in SSL connection. So that means you need to fix the connection first, and then you have to go for attack. So in the BARP and as well as in the Firefox, you have to fix the connection IP address as well. Mr. Shibaram, please send today's video. Yeah, admin will send the video today. Mr. Demit, in PHP and ASP, what are the special characters we should filter out in order to implement input validation? Yeah, what you can do, you can search in the Google and then you can put the input validation. Mr. Tanbir, how to download comics tool? Already we showed how to download the comics tool, so you can do it now. Akam Mohiuddin, how to create backdoor in any server and how to push in and log in and how to use. So in backdoor, in any server, you can log in every server. There is a log file, so you can check the log file, and in the log file you will get the information. So log file system, if you have in every server, in every operating system, you will have a separate log file, so you can check those log files. Mr. Monjur, please upload class 3 presentation. Wrong presentation uploaded. Okay, I will request to the admin to check the presentation files. Mr. Bajid, how can I get last class videos? Yeah, admin will do it. Admin will do it. Tell me about midterm exam in details, Mr. Shubhan. Actually, the question will be in, the from the last class and up to today's class. I think up to today's class, and the question will be in the multiple choice and 40 questions. You have to answer it. So admin will let you know that when will be the questions and the result as well. Now we can go for the where is admin? Okay. হ্যাঁ কই আপনি আছেন তো নাকি আচ্ছা আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে so here is the hidden field manipulation attack. The hidden field manipulation attack. This is the LDAP injection works, and then hidden field manipulation attack. So how we can do the hidden field manipulation attack? So in the HTML code, for example, from the input form, you are getting the information Jaggy Boy shirt and then price equal to 200. In the HTML code, you are getting that this one, the price equal to input type hidden and the price equal to value equal to 200. So here, and the name of the product is Jackie Boy shirt, and then price equal to 200 you are getting. What you can do, you can change the value of this field, and you can value, for example, 200 to $2 $2. So then you are getting the Jackie Boy shirt with the $2. So how they can do it? When the user makes a selection on the HTML page, and they typically stored in the form fields, the value will be sent to the form fields, and then send the submit button. When they send it the submit button, and these are the hidden fields. These fields are not shown in the fields are not shown in the browser, and the attacker collected this field, these parameters from the input form, and they examine the HTML codes. They will examine the HTML codes in order to change the value prior to the server. They will change the value prior to the server. So now cross-site scripting attack. How we can do cross-site scripting attack? The attackers exploit all the vulnerability dynamically generated by the web page. So they when the victim or the user use the dynamic web page, then actually the cross-site scripting attack is happen in those sort of web applications, and this enables malicious attackers to inject client-side script into web page viewed by others. And mainly when it occurs the invalidated input data, and they will the dynamic included in the dynamic content that is sent to the user web browser. And attacker inject malicious JavaScript, VB script, ActiveX, this sort of script, and to the victim system by hiding within the legitimate request. So in the cross-site scripting, what the attackers do, attackers try to use the malicious script execution, redirecting to the malicious server, exploit user privilege, and adds in hidden iframes and pop-ups, data manipulation, session hijacking, brute force password cracking, data theft, internet probing, and keylogging. This type of activities attackers will do using XSS attack. So how this attack works? Actually, how this attack works? The user send a normal request. The user send a normal request to the server, and if the page is not, for example, the JSON HTML, and number, if there is error in the page, then you will get this sort of error message. And when they will get this sort of error message, the attacker will try to change the script. The attacker will try to change the script, and then he will try to put his own message without this one. What he did, he will give you his own the own server response. That means he will change the error message, or he will put his own message with the script. And in here, in number one, normal request, user is sending the request to the server, and server is generating an error response and putting this sort of message. And what happened with the attacker? Attacker is sending the request, same request, changing the malicious code, changing the error code with the malicious file, and the server is responding with the malicious file. So uh, this sort of this is the way how the cross-site scripting attack works. Now how they can the attacker can use the email, how they can attack using email. What the user is doing, user is sending the attacker is sending a request to the user. The attacker is sending a request to the user that, oh, hi guys, you have sent them, you have got $2 million, so please click on this link. So then the user definitely becomes feel proud that he got the $2 million and click the link. When he click the link will forward the user to the malicious server, with the malicious code and malicious link, and then from the server the user will get the request that, oh, please put the name, age, location, this sort of information, bank user ID and password, and the user will fill up this one, and this information will go to the attacker, and then attacker will attack the users, if it is a banking system, user banking system. So this is the way the attacker can attack using accesses via email. And in the email, the attacker is try to get the client profile using the malicious code, malicious form, and then he will try to get the authorized access to the requested server. And how this one work? This one first, the attacker has to contract a malicious link where you will get the information of the user, or you can get the information from the user or from the victim. And then if you get the link, and then if you set up the link, and then you have to send an email to the user convincing her that please click on this one. For example, I can remember one thing. I know that there is no virus or there is no hacking system in the iPhone, and I got a message that, oh, you got an iPhone and please click the link and go to your nearest, you will get a code, go to your nearest iPhone store, and then you will get a new iPhone. Once I click the link, and then I understand then this one already hacked, that means all the information already gone to the attacker. And then what I did, I reinstall the iPhone. So you have to send an email in such a convincing way so that the user can click on the link. And but the request from my side to the you guys, please don't click on those site of link if you get it, and aware your friends and others, if they get this sort of link, this sort of email, they should not click on the link. So you are convincing the user, and as well as the sending email to the user, and that please click on the link. Once they click on the link, they request they click on the requested page, and then the malicious script will activate it, and the attacker will run this one, and the attacker will get access to the trusted server or the user server. So another thing is that trying to get steal the user's cookie. So how they can use the user's cookie? They can how the attacker can get the user's cookie? The attackers can the attackers will host a page with this malicious script. You have the attackers will have to have a page with the malicious script, and that page can be viewed by the attacker, and the HTML contain the malicious script, and then run it, and then collect users cookie by running this script, and redirect these cookies can be redirected to the attacker, and then attackers can send a request to the user's cookie to the trusted server. In this way, the attacker can steal the user's cookie. So sending an unauthorized request. So how attacker can send an unauthorized request? So in that case, first of all, you have to construct a malicious code. You have to construct a malicious code, and then send an email to the user, convincing the user to click on the page, and then request the page, then exit, and then page with the malicious script will be run by the attacker, and then you will have a authorized request to get access to the server, because using that link you are getting the information, username and password from the victims. Now access attack in the blog posting. So what the attacker can do, there you can have a blog. The attacker, most of the time the attacker can have a blog, and from that blog they can steal your credentials. They can steal your credentials. So normally the users have the normally the attackers can create a blog. For example, nowadays most of the religious blogs is running by the attackers. So what they do, they will give you some sort of information, and you are writing, they are writing, and in your statement the attacker is trying to add some malicious script. Attacker will try to use the malicious script so that he can get your credentials, and that malicious script will go to the web application and then stored into the server. And when the user is using that one, when the user is using that and the user is using their blog, in the meantime the attacker already put the malicious code into the database server. So when the user is using that blog, already the malicious code is injected, so the user will be redirected to the malicious website, so that the attacker can get the credentials of the user. And same thing will happen in the comment page. So if there is a comment page, and everybody used to make a comment on that page. For example, in the page, especially in the Facebook or Twitter or in the LinkedIn. So what the attacker do, if Facebook is very much safe, so if there is a private blog and you are making comment on the private blog, what the attacker can do, attacker can put a malicious script on the comment box, and then attacker will run the script and will store that one using in the database server. The attacker can store that one in the database server. And then when the user visits the website and try to write down some comment, then he will be redirected to the malicious code, which is already set by the database server. And website vulnerabilities to the cross-site scripting attack. The XSS project provides information on all things related to the cross-site scripting vulnerabilities, and as well as is the largest online archive of access vulnerable websites. So if you run this one, then you will get easily you will check the vulnerabilities of the website, and the attackers can get this one, so what type of website and how you can attack it. So cross-site request forgery attack. So what is the cross-site request forgery attack? Now, in this case, the attackers try to exploit the web page vulnerabilities. And this will allow the attacker to force the unsuspecting user's browser and to send the malicious request, which they did not intend to. And the victims may have the active session with the trusted site, and at the same time with the simultaneous the malicious site. So the forgery, the cross-site request forgery attack, the attackers will try to exploit the vulnerabilities of the web page. How they will do it? They will the victim users, when the victim users have the active session with the trusted site, at the same time the attacker will try to connect with the malicious site. So at the same time, the victim user will have two connection, one with the trusted site and another with the malicious site. And this malicious site from the malicious site, the attacker will get the session ID of the trusted site. So and then it will compromise the integrity of the trusted site. So what will happen? Number one, the user is sending request to the trusted website, and at the same time the server is sending the session. The server is responding to the users, and the attackers is getting the session ID, session cookie from the web browser. And as well as the user is at the same time visiting the malicious site. So the attacker is now getting the session ID and the session ID from the cookie, and attacker will use this one to get access to the trusted server. So cross-site forgery, we can use Barb. We can use Barb tool using this one, and as well as we can use the DBW for the cross-site scripting, and I think Mr. Monirujjaman will show you how can we do the cross-site scripting using DBW or using this one. Admin is here now. Admin,
Yes, sir. Here.
Yeah, Monirujjaman. Yeah, please get access to the Monirujjaman.
Okay, sir.
Access to.
Okay, sir. Done.
Thank you. So we will show how to do XSS or and CSRF. And first of all, we need to install DBWA, and I'll show the step again, not in details, but you can follow me. I'm moving this project to my server, so you can simply access this from localhost/db. So we need to configure now. First of all, I need to rename this file. Then I need to put my database credential here. So I will have to create a database called DBWA. So I'm going to my local host/phpMyAdmin. So I already have one, so I can simply connect it. Okay, DBW, and I have no password for localhost. So using our default password admin and password, we can log in here. Okay, so first of all, we need to change the security level. We are setting low. So at first we will see how we already shown you SQL injection, and now we'll see the XSS. So cross-site scripting, and sir already explained how this is working and what kind of attack we can do, but I will show you in critically. So we will see this XSS stored. That means all of our attack will be stored in database, and you can just I am doing a I can put this is a simple comment block comment system, and I can simply write my name. So I can simply write this. So this my comment is stored in database, and what we can do here, we can do XSS attacks such as uh, uh, script alert script. So this is a JavaScript code, so it will show hello, or and here I am putting my name. Oh, see, this is stored in uh, in a secure way, so we cannot do any type of attack here. But if this is if we put this, okay, simply I can. So you can see here I have a validation. I need to bypass this. I cannot write more than few characters. So how I can bypass this? Go to inspect element and check this code. So you can see there is a max length 10. So how I can bypass this? I need to write my code there. So I can simply do there 1000, and now our default system is correct, and you can write. See? Yes. You see, so we did the same thing on first we tried to store access attack in message field, and then we tried to store access attack in name field. But message field is secure, so it was not saved in our database, but the name field was not securely invalidated. So that's why if you reload the page, this code will execute again. So that means you can pass data from here, and in this way you can simply pass. If I do, again I need to bypass the validation. So here is a validation of maximum 10. So I need to put 1000, and now I can write alert document dot okay. Test. So you see all of my code are stored in database test book, and I can see that my name, and all of those JavaScript code are stored in a plain way. So that means we can pass anything from there, and we can pass our cookies, we can pass any alert or redirect the user to any other location. So this is how it works, and then we will move to CSRF attack. So what we can do in CSRF attack? Using CSRF attack, we can use the existing session of a user. So we will send a link to a user that please click on this file, and if he click on this file or somehow open this file, another action will be another request will be sent from his browser. So let's see how we can do this attack, and here is a simple password changing form. So I need to put a new password. I can change password from this link. But what if user can what if I click on another page and this password will be changed? So we can do simply with CSRF attack. How this will attack, I will show you. So we just need a simple PHP script. Let me Google it. So you can simply find it from Google. So here is a simple script. So I have to make a new file in my local host. I can simply create this file. Let's see. I am making a terminal dot test.html. So this is a simple form, and using this I can submit a request to any host. So here how this will change my password. If I open this password, if I open this link, localhost slash, look, this file is not linked with our DBWA, but we can simply send a request from this file to our DBWA, and the password will be changed automatically. Let's see. We can do this. Simply, this is a hidden field. We need to so in action we need to put the password changing field link from our DBWA. So here you can see the link, and just simply copy it and paste it. After this is the password new and password confirm field. This will be our new password. So if user click on this page, simply if user open this page, looks, if user open this page and click on this, our password will be changed. Or we don't need to click on this, we can automatically click on this page with JavaScript or curl. We can send automatically request if only user click on this page. So if I click, looks, password changed, and we no longer will be able to, let's see, admin, and I put my last password, password. This is not working because we have reset our password from another CSRF script, and our new password is hacked. So if I put this, Control C, and here I will have to put admin, and if I put password, it works. So I hope you understand how to do XSS and how to do simple CSRF, and hope you will practice this after the class. Now I am requesting admin to change the mic.
Yes, thanks you a lot. So now I can give some question and answers, and then I will start again. Today we have very few questions. First question, Mr. A.K. Mohiuddin. Dear sir, I have lost all password. By this time, how to log in server? So what you can do, you can reset your password using the script. So now you can change the password. I think you can do it using cross scripting. Mr. Jahidul Islam Jiban, we need all the class PPT for exams. So I think admin will do it. Rafiqul Islam Russell, when exam held? So far I know the exam will be held between in between the next class today and the next class.
No, sir. We make a plan next 28 September at 5 p.m. The exam
Okay.
will held. Yes, sir. I will email all of the participants.
Okay.
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Ahaduzzaman, is there any live test purpose website where we can test all the tools? Yeah, you can use the DBW. So you can use DBW for all the things. DBW is a very good tools to check all the things regarding ethical hacking. And Mr. Ashraf, in barb error message, error proxy read handshake record. In barb there is a error message, error proxy read handshake record. I think there is a setting problems. Please setting it carefully. I don't want to answer any anonymous attendee. Actually, I don't want to answer any anonymous. Please change your name, or you can register with the BDRAN DLE so that you can check the class. Mr. Damit, dear sir, is it possible to do CSRF? So already we showed you that the CSRF, so I think you can understand now. Mr. Kam Muhyiddin, already we show the how can you download the comics tool. You can do it now. Muhammad Mansur Jahir, please upload and correct presentation PDF file. I think you will get it very soon. And then Mr. Pramod, one of G Suite email user is attacked by Kewa SCC hacker. Attacker used user email for threatening. How to prevent it? So I think you have to recover your email. So I don't know, is there any recovery system or not? Then what you can do, there is a email recovery link for you did not G Suite email. So you did not tell me you are using Gmail or Yahoo. So they have the link. If you are hacked, there is a link. You can send an email to them. They will respond to you. And if you have the recovery phone number or recovery system, then you can get recovery using those information as well. Mahmudul Hassan Akondo, what is the purpose of proxy server in network? Proxy server, actually it is store information and it will speed up your system. It will speed up your networking system. Once if you get into login, or if you're trying to use the one web link, then it will store in the proxy server. Actually a proxy server will work as a server. It will, if the server will get in the proxy, then it will connect to the proxy directly. Otherwise it will go to the internet. And Muhammad Mansur Zahir, can you provide me practical lab on ES discourse? Practice lab already we showed you, and there are some example on the slide, so you can do it based on that one. What is the purpose of the proxy server? Already I told you. Again, slow. same thing is coming frequently. Mr. Ranjit Kaur, I think you are trying to ask me something, but you did not. Mr. Ranjit Kaur, I have a problem with the website. My website works perfectly in a local machine, but when I try using it from the server side redirect to the, how can I stop it? I think yeah, there is a problem with the server side. So please try to set up the server and then try to upload your website. Mr. Damir, dear sir, if the web application is on the post method to pass values, is it possible to do CRF? Yes, you can do it. Mr. Ashraf, please please show practical how to solve the bar error. I got stuck and yeah, in Firefox when entering the localhost, showing the message software is preventing Firefox from safely connecting to the site. I think yeah, you have a yeah, last class we showed you how to connect the Firefox with the system, and so I with the Burp Suite. Please try to set up those, and if not, please ask us in the next class. We will show in the next class. That's not a problem. Mr. Shiba, maybe netting problem, Gunjan sir. Yeah, maybe. So no more question now. So what we can do? We can go for the next slide. We can go for the next slide. So web application on DDoS attack. So we know what is the DDoS attack now, because last time we have shown you how we can do the DDoS, what is the DDoS and what we can do DDoS attack in the web server. So what we can do today, we can do the same thing for the web application. So in the web application, why the attackers will do the DDoS attack? The attackers will try to do in it will try to set up the bottleneck of the application environment, and the attackers will try to target will try to reduce your bandwidth. So then if it is a e-commerce based, then you cannot do anything if the attackers can continuously transmitting a packet into your bandwidth, and as well as the database bandwidth. The attackers will try to target the database bandwidth, the worker process, as well as CPU and memory. So the attackers target is this one for the DDoS attack. So why the attackers can do the DDoS attack? Because of what are the actual application vulnerability? Why they can do it? And they can do it for poor data validation. If you have poor data validation, the attacker can easily do the DDoS. If you have implementation flaws, the attacker can do it. And if you have application environment bottlenecks, then also attacker can do it. These are the things the attacker can make a DDoS attack into your network, so that the client cannot use your system. And Daniel's the example, if you want to see some example, the user registration system. What the attacker could do, attacker could create a program that submit the registration form repeatedly, so that the original user cannot use it. The attacker will try to submit the registration form frequently in a large number for a large number of users, so that the original user cannot use it. In a login attack, what they can do, the attacker will send a multiple requests with the username and password. The username and password, so that the system will be unavailable and unreasonably slow, so that the user cannot get access to the to that system. And the user enumeration, this is the part of username and password pair is incorrect, and this is the automatic process, and the user the attacker can automate the process of trying to common usernames from a directory file to enumerate the users of the application. And account lockout attack. So we know that most of the application, if you especially the banking and as well as financial service, and also the e-commerce based service, if you put the username and the wrong password 3 times a day, 3 times within the short period of time, your account will be locked. So what you can do, what the attacker can do, attacker will send the username and incorrect password frequently, so that they can lock your account. So especially this happen in the social media. So in the social media, if someone target you, he can easily lock out your account. And then buffer overflow attack. So buffer overflow attack, when an application is written, you can allocate a memory block of memory to buffer or hold the information. And what the attacker do, attacker's target is that information. So if you have, for example, in this script, if you have 10 size of the buffer, 10 character size of the buffer, and so attacker can know this is the vulnerable if the attackers can know the size of the buffer. So what the attacker can do, attacker can control the size of the buffer. It can modify the internal variables, and then definitely it can make a buffer overflow, but it can reduce the size of the buffer. And as well as attacker function pointer to direct program execution through a jumper call. And at the same time, the attacker can control the jump with this vulnerable code. So this is the thing of the buffer overflow. And then cookie or session poisoning. So this is used to maintain the session state. Otherwise stay in the stateless HTTP protocol. Actually, this is the if the HTTP protocol is stateless, in that case, the cookie poisoning is used. What the attacker can do, attacker can modify the cookie content. They will try to collect the information of personal information stored in a computer cookie, and then will try to bypass the security mechanism. This is the first thing they can do, and second thing, they can inject the malicious content. So if they have the access to the cookie, now what the attacker will inject the malicious content and also modify the user's online experiences and obtain unauthorized information. From the cookie, attacker can easily get the unauthorized information. And another thing is that rewriting the session data. So what they can do, they since you have a proxy, and the proxy can be rewriting using the session data, displaying the specifying a new user ID and or other session identifier in the cookie. So in the cookie poisoning, the attacker can do these 3 types of things. So actually, from the cookie, the attacker is trying to collect the credential information, and then also trying to get the unauthorized information, and so that and also the session ID, so that they can get access to the trusted server. So one is Hui cookie poisoning. So the user is trying to get access to the server, web server, and the server is replying to the server is trying to reply to the user, and at the same time the attacker using the phishing or cross scripting, the attacker is trying to get the steal the cookie, and then he is trying to update the cookie so that he can get access to the delivery access to the web server. And here he is trying to change the total price. Here total price is this one, and the attacker is trying to change the total price, and as well as he is trying to get the delivery of the product. So cookie poisoning, actually this is a dangerous attack for the e-commerce site or the and session fixation attack. So what the attacker can do, attacker log on to the bank website using his credential. Bank website the attacker is getting, and on the web server is giving the session ID to the attacker's meeting, because if you have the if you have a valid access, definitely you will get the session ID. And what the attacker will do, attacker will give this session ID to the user. He will give this session ID to the user, and at the same time the user is clicks on the link, and as well as the redirecting to the bank website. So user is getting log on to the bank website, and from that bank website, and since the attacker session ID and the user session ID is similar, so attacker is also get access to the bank ID of the user. So in this way we can get access to the user using session fixation attack. And then CAPTCHA CAPTCHA attack. What is CAPTCHA? It is used to prevent automated software for performing actions that degrade the quality of service of a given system. If you have a given system, it will actually degrade the quality of the service. And it aims to ensure that the user of application are human and ultimately aid in preventing unauthorized access and abuse. So what it does, it will ensure the unauthorized access and abuse of the system. But the attacker can compromise this compromise the security of the web application by exploiting vulnerability. So the attacker can easily get access to the CAPTCHA using its vulnerability. So what are number one, bleaching client-side trust. So CAPTCHA is trusting the client, but it can breach it and manipulating server-side implementation and attacking the CAPTCHA image. So this is the CAPTCHA attack we can do, and here there is a step how we can do the CAPTCHA attack. Cyber criminal bypass of CAPTCHA. The attacker send a request CAPTCHA image, send the request, and that request API token and send CAPTCHA image, and then what they can do, queue CAPTCHA image, make a queue, and then query to CAPTCHA for CAPTCHA ID, and log in with solved CAPTCHA submitted. And this is the cyber criminals can bypass the CAPTCHA. So what we can do now, we can give some more question and answer. we have only 3 questions, and then we'll try to stop for today maybe. Mr. Rakesh Singh Kunwar, hello sir, is DDoS and DRDoS is different? Yes, definitely it is different. These two are for two different applications and different purpose. Mr. Gunjan Randis, other 28 websites are working perfectly. Only problem with one site, try to search it in localhost, but no issue. Maybe some problem with WordPress application. Yes, maybe some problem with the WordPress. Should not be the problem with the WordPress. Maybe some configuration problem. Still, I will tell you, please check the configuration. It may be problem with the configuration. Otherwise, or you can check, there may be some unexpected files, system files you are uploading. So you are please try to check that one as well. Mr. Sajjadur Rahman, if anyone do browsing in incognito mode, then is it possible to get cookies update session somehow? Yes, you can definitely you can get it. Mr. Pradeep Kumar Das, is HTTP can resolve the session hijacking attack? For a certain case, HTTPS can resolve it, but for 100% case, it is not possible. So the attacker is very intelligent; they can attack the HTTP.